Going into our grand finals match between the Salty Skyborne and Team Predators. This is going to be Northern Fjords. Let's take a look at the ship builds. First off, for the Salty Skyborne, we have the Salty Junker, Hades Banshee, left side, front flare gun, right gap mortar, Junker, piloted by nobody at the moment. Their ally, the Ruzkov, left side gap mortar, right side Artemis Hades, piloted by Sunstrom. For Team Predators, we have the Greasy Dream, a staple of the Predators, piloted by Mighty Keb. It is a Gatling Banshee Squid with a light carronade rear. Their ally, the Bobobula, Mercury. Mercury on this Mobula. Double Artemis supplementing and light carronade flamethrower for close range, piloted by Princess Tutu. It does look like we have a disconnect from the Salty Junker's pilot, Soderholm, so we will have a pause going down by the referee. It is interesting. I'm curious why they've decided to bring a Mercury for this match. I mean, the Mercury is typically considered the inferior option to the Hades. It has much lower DPS. It has very poor arcs, especially on a map like Northern Fjords, which you get into. There are a lot of crevasses that you can kind of fall into. There's a lot of vertical play that can be had on this map, and the Merc is totally useless in those situations. It's kind of a gun that's relegated primarily to the big open maps like Battle on the Dunes. We see it a bit on Fernfeld, and Water Hazard. But it's an interesting choice for Fjords, especially when your ally is a close-range squid, so any extreme long-range fights are totally out of the question. I really do not know what the logic behind this is. And we do see this double Junker coming back out from the Salty Skyborne. They did utilize this to great effect against the Predators in the Winners Finals match. The Junker proving extremely resistant to the Squid's harassment. Just any time the Squid tried to get anything done, that one of the two gap mortars would come into effect and drive it away. Still waiting for them to bring in their new captain, or I believe bringing Soderholm back in. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know what strategy Team Predators are going to be going for. Their builds just don't seem to match up that well. If maybe they're just gonna have the Bobobula stationed in some remote location with the Squid kind of diving in, performing a hit and run, getting out, while the Merc double Artemis just pokes them from afar. And also interesting to say, these for both sides. These are the same builds we saw in the Winners Finals that eventually went to the Salty Skyborne. So, I mean, maybe that's part of it. Maybe the Bobobula, maybe they're afraid of that gap mortar, so they want to try to keep more range between them and these two very powerful Junkers. As we continue to sit in this pause. And apparently Soderholm is back, and then they lose another player. That's great. But it looks like we are going to get the readies going down from both teams. So finally the match is going to progress, and we'll get to see where the Squid goes. That's what I'm really curious about. He is moving southward. Red team positioning closer to the front of the map, or to the center of the map. I think a close range fight will definitely favor them with the dual Gat mortars, or whatever the ship has. Oh, this looks like a Gat mortar. Okay. Especially considering the decreased long range DPS of the Junker, having only 2 long range guns. But Bobby is sitting pretty close here. Like you see here, right? You see this Mercury? This Mercury can't do shit. Excuse me. Until the Junker decides to rise up into his gun arcs, which is what he's opting to do. But even so, I think the firepower of these 2 Junkers is going to be too much for the Bababula. Greasy Dream has taken this opportunity to engage. Gatling's going to be coming out, but the Junker has so much hull armor that they're going to have a lot of difficulty breaking it. And in the meantime, they're taking Gatling fire themselves. Although a lot of the Roskov's Gats going into the balloon. And now the Salty Junker getting their whole armor finished off by the Mercury Field Gun of the Bababula. And the Bababula being kind of annoying. Looks like Greasy Dream is going to dual focus the Junker with their ally. Whole armor going down. Let's see some Banshees. Good Banshees. Salty Junker hydroing up to dodge a lot of that Banshee clip, keeping them alive. But I think with the second whole armor break, they're going to be able to finish them off with the assistance of the Bababula's Artemis. Broskov going to engage close range side on the Greasy Dream. And Greasy Dream backing into their balloon, actually doing quite a bit of damage. They're going to be stranded at the height ceiling here, and not going to have a lot of difficulty dodging this Merc Art coming from the Bababula. So they're just going to try to leave. They're going to try to get out. Those engines are pretty vulnerable, so I'm not sure they're going to be able to. But yeah, that Merc Gatling Art Banshee more than enough to take out that Junker. Salty Junker is going to have to be careful here. If he gets caught up in a full fight with the Predators, the same fate's probably going to befall him. So he's going to be staying low, staying below any possible gun arcs from the Bababula, even if it gets spotted. This is a fairly safe location. Although interesting, the Roskov, well, I guess I was going to say, not taking the same spawn as their ally, but they're not too far away. Greasy Dreams maintaining this forward position, acting as almost like a watchtower, trying to keep visibility of red team's positions. I think more or less everyone knows where everyone is at this point. And they're going to go for a flank. Bababula is going to be limited in which ship they can target because they are limited by the Mercury's downward arcs. So target's going to be the Roskov. The Junker's a little too far down. Greasy Dream's going to be moving in. I wonder... it looks like he's going to be going for the Salty Junker. And interesting, this is actually... This harassment from the Squid is forcing the Salty Junker up. And that means they're going to be back in the Mercury arcs of the Bababula. I wonder if that was the Predator's plan, was to force them upwards like that. And this gives them the opportunity to once again dual focus. But the Greasy Dream needs to be careful as well. They are on the long range side of the Roskov, so they're not going to take too much damage, but that Banshee is annoying. And I don't think the Predators want to split off like this. The Junkers have so much hull armor. I think they're going, if they want to be able to break it, they're going to need the dual focus. Especially with the Roskov now diving down on the Babobula. If they have some mortars here. The mortars. Slow mortars. Those are real slow mortars. But with the second armor break... still no. Okay. Like, you see the issue here. The Babobula had the rear of the Junker. Greasy Dream has the rear of the Roskov, but neither of the blue ships is able to do enough damage to pierce the Junker's high hull armor. So the Junkers can just kind of go on doing what they're doing. And what they're doing now is killing the Babobula. Babobula's balloon is also heavily damaged, so he does not have much dodging potential here. Although the Greasy Dream distracting the Roskov long enough to keep his ally alive. I think with this next armor break, that will probably be it. No? Maybe they're gonna... No, yeah. There they go. Alright. And now the Greasy Dream needs to leave. I feel like I've said that a lot today. But that is one of the advantages of running a very fast, agile ship like the Squid. Is that in these bad situations that you find yourself in, you can leave. Like you have no commitment here. And with this fight disengaged, we can look at the Roskov, which is pretty heavily damaged. So if that's something that Team Predators is aware of, they could focus them down very quickly. You know, the heads up play I would like to see is the Salty Junker maintaining the high position so that they're the ones focused by the Babobula's Mercury. If the Roskov stays low, they'll have the Babobula will have difficulty shooting them. But it looks like in this instance they're both going to stay low, forcing the Babobula to equalize verticality with them. A little bit out of range Gatling fire coming out. Man, just imagine if that was a Hades. Like, if that blue Mobula had a Hades, they could absolutely kill this Junker. But with that Mercury, they really can't do anything to it, being this far down. Greasy Dream's just kind of hanging out here. I'm not... Maybe a little indecisive about which ship he wants to target. And Babobula's having a little difficulty maintaining arcs. Is this slow motion? That was strange. That was a weird fight. That was a weird moment. All the ships just kind of sitting there, nobody shooting anything. But we do now have a full-on engagement. Babobula is targeting the Roskov. Greasy Dream has peeled off to deal with the Salty Junker. If Babobula is able to get the hull break on the Roskov, this will be a very fast kill with the dual Artemis, but they're going to have some trouble. With the Roskov diving down, they're going to have trouble maintaining their Mercury gun arcs. And it looks like Roskov is going to dive to safety. At the same time, the Greasy Dream is moving in. We see a hail of Gatling fire going back and forth. Babobula has changed his focus to the Junker, so we are going to see the Predators dual focusing this red Junker. The Banshee coming out with the Artemis and just destroying that red Junker. Somehow managing to kill the full health one first. And now the Roskov is totally out in the open. He's totally vulnerable. He's going to probably lose his whole armor on the next Merc volley. And the Artemis will finish him off. So now we have a 4-1 very strong lead from the Predators. And it should be noted, the format for this match, for this tournament, since the Salty Skyborne, it came from winners. The winners, this is a double elimination tournament. Since they came from the winners bracket, they only need to win one game in this set to take the tournament. And since the Team Predators came from losers, they have to win 2 games. So if they win this, there will be one final match to decide who the tournament champion is. So even though they do have a very strong lead in this game, that does not mean the Salty Skyborne is out of this tournament by any means. And it looks like they want the cover of the southern mountain range. Mobile is going to have some difficulty following them here. And the Greasy Dream's not going to be able to commit. So you see, even though Junker's not the fastest ship, but Greasy Dream really does not want to follow them into this covered part of the map because their ally will not be able to assist. And we do have 10 minutes remaining on the timer. So even though the Salty Skyborne does have this very strong defensive position behind the mountain, it's kind of up to them to make something happen, because if the timer expires when they're at a point deficit, they will lose the match. So they could have the strongest defensive position in the world, but it won't do them any good if they're not able to get any kills. And it looks like they know that. They're going to be moving closer into the center map. They want to try to suss out where the Mobula's current location is. Because if they can catch the Mobula by surprise and catch them with a close range engagement, they can kill it very quickly. But the Mobula does have pretty good visibility of all angles. So it's gonna be pretty difficult to sneak up on them from this spot. All right, the Roskov is moving out into the open. They want to make something happen. There's only so much time remaining, so moving into the center of the map, they are going to use the arch to cover a little bit of their charge. But Mobula already firing on the Roskov, taking down the barely unable to take down the whole armor. But this is the close range engagement they want. If they can engage, if the Gap Mortar remain undestroyed, armor on the Mobula is going down. Let's see if we have no mortars. Oh no, and the Rostkov does go down with the assistance of the Greasy Dreams. Something happening with the mortars, maybe potentially getting disabled by the Artemis, I'm not sure, but they really needed that kill on the Mobula. And what this means is that now both teams are one game away from taking the Sunday Community Skirmish. Going into our final game in this grand final set between the Salty Skyborne and Team Predators on Periton Rumble. This is a great map. I love this map. And of course the team switched sides, so I have to do that. First off, for Team Predators, we have the Greasy Dream. Mighty Kev refusing to fly without his squid. It is a Gat Banshee rear light carronade squid. They've paired it with the Doe Watch Aspire front-facing mortar, Gatlings flanking either side, piloted by Princess Tutu. Their opponents are the Salty Skyborne, bringing a Spire of their own, the Meow. It is another Watch Aspire, front-facing Gatling. Mortar on the left, Gatling on the right, same guns, a little different positioning. Their ally is the sweet Victorfish. Watcha OP Goldfish, Gatling on the left, light carronade on the right, piloted by Sunstorm. And Skyborne playing this extremely safely. going all the way up around all the buildings. Or is red team moving a little closer to the center? This is a tactic we see on a lot of Periton maps. As you see, there's a lot of cloud cover. There are a lot of these buildings. There are kind of alleyways you can move through. So one strategy we often see is that the boundaries around the city are pretty wide open. And so if you go all the way around, it means that you can't be flanked. It means the enemy team cannot. It will have a much more difficult time abusing the low visibility of the map. Because they will not be able to. You'll basically have a totally protected side. And then as soon as you spot the enemy team, which they just did, you can just make a beeline to the center and try to flank them. Doe is in a bad position here. He's totally facing the wrong way. And he might actually die here. The dual Gatling from the Meow just totally eviscerating the armor on this red spire. Victorfish. I'm not sure what Victorfish even shot there. But I feel like the spire is going to go down fairly quickly. The Meow does have the mortar on the left, so there's a little more difficulty to bring it into arc. But I think they're going to be able to do so here. As we're lagging. And the red spire does, in fact, go down. Greasy Dream, on the other hand, is in a similarly bad spot. Victorfish getting the better of him with the Hwacha. Those engines are so vulnerable. And now with the Meow coming in to from the DPS, Greasy Dream, they need to get out of here very quickly. Greasy Dream going to be staying low. He really does not want to be spotted here. He does not want to be caught out in the open before his ally gets the opportunity to respawn. Doe has the potential for a good ambush here. He's sorry about the camera. He's found the rear of the Salty Skyborne, and the Meow is totally exposed. I mean, these spires are both very fragile glass cannons, so the one that engages their guns first is probably going to be the one to win the fight. But sweet Victorfish, able to come in, Hwacha the Doe down, and oh, if they smash him here, just barely ducking down, but I think the Hwacha fire from the Meow goes down to the Greasy Dream, but Doe is so heavily damaged as well that this might just be a straight up trade. Gatling's coming out from the sweet Victorfish. Hwacha coming out. They're having a little bit of, well, Spire armor not fully rebuilt yet. So Victorfish able to pick up that kill. Now the Greasy Dream using that rear light carronade to take out the Victorfish's balloon. A good opportune fight for the red squid. It seemed like he was maybe trying to go for a rear ram, but the terrain making that difficult, and with the Meow coming out, they really do not want to take a Hwacha to the rear here. Because now they have no engines, they're totally out in the open. The second Hwacha coming out, doing a little bit of hull damage as well. And the balloon's so low, they have so little mobility left to them that it's going to be extremely difficult for them to escape the situation. But again, we have the Doe coming in from behind. The Spire meat grind will never end. Hwacha coming out, finishing them off. And Sweet Victorfish is going to need to get a pretty fast kill here. Ram taking down the whole armor. But they're just not able to time the Hwacha correctly to finish them off. And now the Victorfish is in a bad spot. They've lost arcs. They've lost their turning engines. They're falling on random crab. And they are dying. And with this fight taking place on red side of the map, it means there's not going to be any more of that that close spawn ambush shenanigans with Meow now on the complete opposite side of the map. So we will finally have a full disengagement from both teams, and they can decide how they want to start the next fight. I mean, it seemed at the beginning, it seemed like the Salty Skyborne were the first ones to get the spots to go down. You know, they were using that very conservative, that very safe strategy of rotating around the map. And they seemed to catch the dough from, you know, they got the first kills, but by fighting in red spawn, they exposed themselves to those very close respawns. And we see them going back to the same tactic. Although I feel like they're now flying at a maybe a slower speed. Greasy Dream has taken a forward position near the center of the map. He's going to try to get some spots. They really don't know where blue team is. Again, they expect them to be around, you know, the map border somewhere, but that's a pretty wide area to cover. So mainly they don't necessarily need to go find the blue team, but they also don't want to be caught unaware. And it seems like maybe they got some visibility here because the doe. Oh no, the doe's out of position. Oh, this is bad. These ships are very close. Spot's going down on the Meow. Gatling's coming out on the doe. The Greasy Dream is a little far out. Radical dude. But the doe, his armor's down. The Watch is gonna come out. We got some mortars. Doe's gonna go down. Greasy Dream maybe being a little lax with his allies' security, moving a little too far forward, trying to get those spots. And also just being right in the flight path of the Salty Skyborne. And now Greasy Dream needs to... I'll say it again, Greasy Dream needs to leave. And they'll probably be able to. All these alleys allow it a lot of options in terms of disengaging from a fight. It'll be difficult to chase them, which is fine. I do believe, I want to say the Salty Skyborne got the first kill of the match. So in a tie situation, the team that got the first kill, basically that's the tiebreaker. Which means Team Predators will want to pick up at least one more ship to take that lead. Well, we might be going right into a fight here. I think Greasy Dream needs to be careful. They're going to move forward. They're going to try to get spots, but they really should back right out because they're going to try to go for the quick call on the Meow, but the Hwacha, they need to dodge the Hwacha, so they're not able to stick around long enough to finish the Meow off. But a nice shoot vent, keeping them alive, and now maybe the doe is going to be able to pick it off. The Meow doesn't really have anywhere to back off, but Victorfish is going to come in with that Hwacha. And doe will duck down to relative safety. And what this means is the Greasy Dream now left behind with the Meow. As long as they can dodge this Watcher, they can finish off the Blue Spire. But the Watcher is going to be coming out. Oh, with a Ram. Haven't seen too many Rams today, but that was a nice one. And Spire just it's so difficult to dodge a ship that wants to smash you in a Spire. Greasy Dream, you got to be a little careful here. I mean, they do have... I mean, this is a pretty advantageous situation for the Predators. And I think they might be able to finish off the Victor Fish here with the mortar on the dough. Yes, the next hull armor does do it. Winning 2 games in a row in this grand final set, Team Predators are your Sunday Community Skirmish number 67 champion. They are the winners of the Sunday Airship Battles. So congratulations to them.